When StuGo premiered earlier this year on Disney Channel, unlike Haley's Honor to the Ghost and Mary McGee in the Outhouse, I didn't have expectations towards it when it comes to it being the next best Disney Channel show, because in all honesty, it's honestly difficult to consider the latest Disney Channel cartoon to have the same hype as Infamia the Outhouse, or even The Ghost of Mary McGee and Haley's on It. Because, truth be told, I really don't want to be in the same situation of having my expectations go up too high, and then when the show possibly gets cancelled, it'll either put me in a depressing state or a furious state. And every time I look at this show, it has potential, but it won't make a difference of how it will be treated without having a second season, just like Haley's on It. So to get this out of the way, especially with today being the first day of summer, I'm gonna be reviewing Sister Swim because it caught my attention the most when it comes to the other episodes from this show that hasn't. Yes, I didn't watch the first episode, and I don't know much about the characters and the island itself, but with this episode in particular, it doesn't really require to know the information of the island and the other characters, since that it's supposed to be a fun episode centering around Marlene and Tara. In this episode, while the main characters are enjoying themselves on the beach, they encountered a dolphin called Tara, who is the sister of Marlene, and Marlene explains that with her parents being marine biologists, they perform shows, but at the same time, Tara gets the most attention than Marlene. In any activity, Tara is superior over Marlene, which makes her really furious. And after seeing the video inside the flash drive where the two were performing the Sister Swim at a young age, this made Marlene's group excited to really want to see the Sister Swim. But unfortunately, due to Marlene's issues towards Tara, they're unable to cooperate. I've always considered that when an episode catch my attention, it's mainly of what the episode can do of the show that it's in. And while seeing bits and pieces of the show, which isn't a lot, just mainly centers around the group going to place on an island, and the middle schoolers, honestly, upon witnessing the character designs from this show just before it aired, it really didn't caught my attention the most. They're not the worst character designs, but in previous Disney Channel cartoon designs, I really felt like that these designs are mostly a step back in comparison to the designs that really felt the most remembering, and literally the only two characters that instantly grew on me when it comes to character designs from this show is Francis's design, since it's becoming iconic the more I look at it, and for how it's growing on me, it made me see that the character designs in this show aren't as bad as I thought of months before this show came out. The other character design is Marlene, and honestly, looking at her design at first glance, it really feels like it's a younger woman, as in an adult in a kid's body, because of how it really feels like that Marlene is like a grown girl, but at the same time she is shrunk down, which for me personally really was really somewhat went free in my mind, because it just makes me think that she is supposed to be a young child, but her design makes it feels like that she is an adult in a kid's body. Mainly the fact that the face really feels like a grown woman design. But once I saw screenshots of this episode on different websites, it made me see that the people who made the character designs are trying to make them a lot more different compared to the previous character designs from other cartoons. Specifically the Node character design, since that Marlene is one of the Node's characters in the group, and just by seeing how she is in one of the flashbacks, she isn't really qualified on having a grown woman character design, and what I mean grown woman is mainly ages in the 20s or 30s, and in all honesty, it really gave me the impression that with the braces and whatnot in the current age of Marlene, they clearly wanted to make her a little bit more appealing, but at the same time mostly on the nerdy side upon getting older. But moving past that, the plot centering around Marlene and Tara when it comes to them being sisters, when it comes to them performing the Sister Swim, doing the Aqua show that they've been doing from time to time, but at the same time, Tara still gets the most attention. I've always get the impression that Marlene really wanted to be with someone who is instantly the closest to her, and since that someone is a dolphin, honestly, thinking about this concept, even though that I'm not really a human and animal perfectionist when it comes to relationships in the real world, but when it comes to how they're portrayed in shows like this, they're mostly real. And with this episode that managed to get my attention, I just probably like dolphins a little bit more if they're written well. And truthfully, the fact that Tara doesn't speak whatsoever and only speaks in the language that this show is attempting to make that Marlene and the others would understand, it showcases more of her emotions and personality, while Marlene yells at her because I'm not your real sister. If Marlene never said real, we wouldn't be able to have a moment of her of seeing the videos from the flash drive that Tara put in by the computer. And this relationship had been going on since Marlene was a baby. If anything, it made me want to see more of these two, of what they can contribute in the possible second season, because this really gained my attention to the point that you would see a lot more of the bond developing when it comes to this type of passion. Granted, other episodes, at least in my mind, aren't supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be their own thing, especially the meaning of this entire show. As in, the premise of it all. No matter how you look into other people's perspectives when it comes to witnessing shows that grew to them, it isn't always the first episode. It can be any other episodes, and for me personally, Sister Swim was the episode that caught my attention almost for this show. I'm still considerate on giving this show a chance once it comes out on Disney+, but at the same time, when this episode really gained my attention when it comes to giving the episode a chance when it comes to a show that is brand new, it's still a work in progress. Like, there are other people who gave shows a chance by watching one episode, and if they're not into it, it's mostly fine. Especially when they didn't watch the first episode, that probably wouldn't win them over upon watching one of the episodes of that season. With this episode giving me the good impression of this show, it really gave me a good impression on Marlene's character, especially after watching the videos of her and Tara. And this is also the screenshot that I've seen so many times that it's becoming more mesmerizing of how she viewed her sister differently up until now. After Tara saved Marlene from the Ivysaur that one of the characters thought were extinct, they reunite, but then another Ivysaur appeared, which leads to the two doing Sister Swim. If the episode literally ends with Tawa saving Marine's life, then this episode would have been false advertising without the showcase of Sister Swim, because the fact that the Sister Swim plays a part when it comes to avoiding the two predators underwater, then I can instantly say for a fact that if some episodes have the characters having something in the past and they cooperated for the climax towards the end, then I'm actually looking forward to most of those moments if they do happen in other episodes. I'm saying this right here, right now. Current Disney Channel cartoons, despite not having the spark of what the older Disney Channel cartoons have, mainly Amphibia the Owl House, The Ghost of Molly McGee, and Haley's on It, they still have quality of their own, and truth be told, it's really difficult to see this show as it could possibly end with different types of execution and passion into them. Yes, most of the episodes from this show is probably not going to be like this, but if it does, then I'm pretty sure that it's difficult to consider of how much that this show could easily survive longer, even though it's probably not going to outlive Amphibia or even the Owl House. But at the same time, if it doesn't outlive the Ghost and Molly McGee, then it really shows that the more shows we get from Disney Channel when it comes to cartoons, the less they last. While I'm not ashamed of the fact that people aren't giving this a chance because it's their own opinions, and that does apply to other cartoons, but with how less people are enjoying this show in comparison to previous Disney Channel cartoons, it actually gave me the impression that this show won't be able to last long. Honestly, what this show has, it did what it could, but at the same time, when it comes to some occasions, well, cartoons aren't being able to gain an audience of their own, but not a big audience in order to survive, then honestly, I don't know how cartoons nowadays can last forever, or at least longer, despite with the details that I've been seeing when it comes to ratings and whatnot, because regardless if satellite isn't an alternative in comparison to streaming, then I honestly don't know how the functionality of cartoons lasting works. You really need to give this episode a chance just to see what this show might accomplish for your point of view. Even though that it is going to be a shame that this show will probably not have all the episodes behind the scenes come to life, but at the very least, they managed to make this episode that really caught my attention. And I'm sure that there are at least some episodes from this show that caught your attention that, despite being different from this episode, would give you a point of view of your expectations being satisfied, because that's what I got from this episode. Which is why I'm giving this episode an 8.5 out of 10.